This is part two of me reacting to a clip of Meagan Good's interview with Shannon Sharp on Club SHAY. Um, I had to stop yesterday. It was getting a little bit too egregious for me. But I think I could finish out the next 9 minutes of this today. Plus, I was getting tired, but you know, now I got because I was responding a lot and it was just a lot that she was saying. All right, here we go. Let's get to it.
To not go too far down the religious rabbit hole,
Right.
and stay in the relationship with God. God, what do you say?
And we
And
addressed that.
so,
I
for
addressed
me,
that
I never had a conviction about that
yesterday
kind of thing. My
on the
feeling was
last
like,
video.
I want to get these words that I'm saying about God and how much I love God and how God is the head of my life. I want to get this to the people who are going to pick up this magazine because I'm not going to get to them any other way.
So she's talking about her being on the cover of magazines, mainly like magazines. Excuse me. Mainly magazines pertaining to that cater towards men and stuff like that, men that like women that are dressed scantily clad, that are typically dressed scantily clad, like a king, like a double XL, like like a maybe like a source from time to time, you know what I mean, like a vibe from time to time, you know, like that.
Way. And most of the other people in the church, they're not going to get to them at all.
And so she's saying that I could reach these people and talk to them about God um being on this cover dressed a certain way.
Right.
So if I feel comfortable and I don't feel like I'm doing something wrong, then I'm just going to be authentically me and I'm going to reach other people that other people don't just by being who I'm called to be and being authentically that.
Before you take a role, do you always pray on it?
Majority of the time. Sometimes I just feel in my spirit. I'm like, okay, good. I feel good about this. If I'm not sure, then I pray about it. If I've ever felt that God's like, no, that's not what I want you to do, then I just won't do it. Period.
Wow.
Yeah. That's always something that I wrestle with, like regarding being an actor or being an actress and being a believer, right? And if I was an actor, what roles I could take and what roles should Christians take and not take, and like what are the nuances and all of that, and like what is definitely, as believers, we don't do this, like as a whole, like what's right for you may not be right for me, and what's right for me may not be right for you, right? There's that involved in that, but there are some like just flat out things like, okay, we just don't do this no matter where you are, like this goes against the word. And so it's like, if I'm portraying something, if I'm acting a certain way, that doesn't mean that I'm this, but like, like, God, where do you want me to draw the line? And that's, that's kind of always like a murky water type of thing. I'll let her continue.
Even if I want to do it, period, I won't do it.
Wow.
But I've seen her. I haven't really seen. I'll be honest. I really haven't seen her play anything like out there, like anything like that's like crazy. I'll be honest. I may be missing something. You know what I mean? She may say some stuff or whatever. Um, what show does she do right now? Harlem. That's got some risque topics in that, you know what I mean? But I've seen her in Biker Boys. She's been in Eve's Bayou. She's been in Think Like a Man, Think Like a Man 2. Nothing really crazy going on there. I don't remember. Not that I was like really a watcher of that movie. That's not her in Drumline. What, she was in something. She was in Stomp the Yard. That wasn't really too crazy. It was suggestive, but not really crazy. Her role, you know what I mean? So yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
So it's easy. It's easy when you have that kind of faith and you say you've been walking, since you were about 19?
No,
I've been saved since I was 12.
she said she had sex at 19.
12.
Yeah.
Lost your virginity at 19. So you've been on this road. You've been on this road for the better part of 2 decades.
Yeah.
So the highs and the lows, you never question, like, it's God's will, and you whatever he decides, whatever his will.
Yeah, I think that I have to accept that, because you can't accept one thing and not accept the other. And so I trust God, and even, like, when the divorce happened, I was mad at God. I was
Really?
like, what the hell? Like, I was so mad, but I was just like,
But you never questioned it.
I didn't question if I was gonna be okay. I questioned.
Why are you mad at God and not at DeVon? God didn't divorce y'all. God didn't divorce y'all. And that's kind of like the thing, right? This misplaced anger, like when it's really like, because you're trying to make it out to be this thing like that God ordained, like God ordained this divorce. He did not. And I know that she's trying to wrap her head around it. Like, and it didn't make sense. And we don't even know the ins and outs of it. You know what I mean? But it doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? She's like, there was no infidelity, da 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 da. Like, other than that, other than him just not wanting to be with you, I understand like there's some rumblings about her wanting kids and him not wanting kids, or vice versa, whatever it may be. But it's like, she's like, God told me this and that, and we were supposed to be together. And yes, as a married couple, if the two of you are not dead, or one of you is not dead, you're supposed to be remaining married. So I understand the confusion. I understand the hurt. I understand the pain. But her saying, I'm mad at God, like God didn't do this. You know what I'm saying? This, and y'all love to talk about free will. And one day we're going to talk about free will. But we do have a permissible will, right? And we do have a will, a permissible will that God has. And like from that, we work within that. But we do have a mind of our own, I will say, right? And sometimes, like, you have to understand, like, something, just because, not just because, but when God ordains something and God wants something to happen, people, they have a tendency to act outside of that. Now, at the end of the day, the Lord may say, nope, I'm not going to let you do that. And I'm going to work this out to be da, 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 you know? So my point is this, is, fam, you cannot, and I think she knows this now. Hopefully she knows this now. But like, because when you have the mindset of, oh, we can get divorced and God is okay with divorce and it's all of this and da 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 da, and this is what God wanted and all of that type of stuff, I can see why you mad at God. I can see why. But that was not God. That was not God. And what is continuing to feed this thought process is not of God either.
Well, why do it?
Right.
What was the point? And
allow us
over
to come
time,
together, and then and we are.
and then also I was like, you knew this was my worst fear. Like, why? And then
You know who else knew it was your worst fear? The enemy.
over the years, and it's almost been like 3 years now. So over the years, I'm always revealed a lot more. And every time I'm revealed a lot more, I'm just really in gratitude and thankful that I married someone that was so wonderful and that is so wonderful, and that we had that time and that we grew together and just all the things. And so I don't believe that anything's.
I want to take this time out to say, subscribe to the Patreon. If you haven't, subscribe here. Like this video if you like it. Check out some other videos while you're here. I greatly appreciate it. And yeah, like, share, and subscribe. That's pretty much all I have to say. If you're watching this video first, I recommend that you go back and watch the part 1 first. I really haven't said too much of anything yet. I'm just trying to bring this to a close pretty much. I'm not gonna leave y'all hanging. I'm gonna watch this whole thing. Um, and that's that on that. Unmute.
And that's probably the only moment where I was just like, okay, Lord, you know.
Right.
Well,
But
she
now I'm
ain't really
like,
say
okay,
nothing yet.
Lord, thank you.
You mentioned Tyler Perry. You're in this new movie, Divorce in the New Black.
A Divorce in the Black.
Divorce in the Black.
Yeah.
Divorce in the New Black.
What
you talking about?
What?
Because Divorce in the Black. So obviously, if I'm having to guess, you were divorced.
Tyler Perry picked two people that have had very public divorces, or very not really public, but very like, like it's two black people that have had very publicized divorces, doing a movie about when they get divorced. You know what I mean? I saw maybe like 5 minutes of it, maybe an hour ago, just like because I was eating some ice cream or whatever. I'm like, this is something to watch, and then I immediately turned it off, because I was like, this is absolutely over the top and outrageous, as typical Tyler Perry productions usually are.
Yes.
You're a divorcee.
Oh, yes.
How much, having gone through that, were you able to fall back on and says, okay, and boom, here we go.
All of it.
What type of question is that? What did you didn't even say? You barely said words. That was barely a complete sentence. I don't even think it was.
All of it.
And Shannon Sharp is my man. I love Shannon Sharp.
Because even though she's in a very different situation than I was in, it's still that reality of expecting that your life is going to go one way, and then suddenly realizing it's going to go a totally different way, and then you are trying to figure out what you're supposed to do, and having to kind of learn yourself, but realizing that you've also changed and you've grown, and then you having to kind of calibrate your mind.
I'm kind of surprised at like how monotone her voice is. Like, we haven't really heard her speak at length, or you know what I mean, like, and over the years I really haven't. Like, she doesn't really, let's be honest, she doesn't really have a lot of lines in movies and stuff like that. But like, for her to like, she's very monotone. It's very like okay, na 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 na. And there's like no ups and downs in her. There's like no inflections really. It's not a knock. It's just something that I've noticed.
Mind to not be sad, and not, like, you have to go through the sadness. You definitely have to go through the pain and the crying, and the process, which is a process, I think, to some degree, you never don't like not have it in some way, shape, or form, as long as you don't let it make you bitter. You let it make you better. But the process that she had to go through to go, okay, now I'm in this next phase of life, and I'm going to embrace this, and I'm going to get excited about this, and I'm going to figure out what I want and what makes me happy. And having complete freedom after that to be like, okay, it's my world, what I want to do with it. And so I think many of the moments that Ava had, there's a scene
It's
where
not your word. No, I'm just serious. But like, it's like, I mean, again, like, what are you gonna do? Like, the person wanted to divorce you. He wanted it to be over. So it is like, what is she going to do? Right? Does she like just crawl over and die? Does she keel over and just die? No, that's not what I'm saying at all. We go on, we live, and all of that type of stuff. Absolutely. But we gotta take it, we gotta like really, and I will say this: there is something that I have gone through, and am still in many ways going through, that I literally have had to. I realized like I'm still growing from it, and I'm still learning from it, and I'm still detaching myself from it. Right. And there's things that I still have to, you know what I mean? But what I have not done is try to, and I would say for a short time I've tried to rationalize it, and okay, well, this is just my lot in life. This is this and that. You know what I mean? And sometimes we can't get in that space, right? Like we're devastated by something and we just figure that we should move in a certain way now because, but like one thing that we don't do or should not do is, I mean, because like when something is of God, it is of God. When something is not of God, it is not of God. But what we don't do is take something that isn't of God and try to make it a God thing. In the sense of like, okay, well, this is what God intended all along. Like he's pleased with this. It's like, first of all, and I do know that God is he worketh all things together for the good of those who love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. And that's what we need to understand. That is something that we really need to walk away with, is that, okay, Lord, this is the decision that this person made, and I have to feel the effects of it. I have to feel the full effects of this thing. But I know that you will come through, and I know that you are working it out. Not like, okay, well, God wanted this, and so now, like, let me just live how I want to live, or let me just do my own thing now because da 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 da. No, it is, okay, Lord, this happened. I know that you are going to fix it. I know that you're going to work it out. I know that whatever you got planned, it's going to be what you want it to be at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And I think that we would do well to come from that standpoint, as opposed to just thinking like, like God caused this or God did this, like, you know what I mean? Because that's what a lot of people think. They're like, well, if God is good, why did he allow all of this stuff to happen? It's like, no, there are people in the world that he has given some form of will to, and you know what I mean? But what, and that's a part of the order that God has set in place for this world, right? He has given people authority, he has given humans authority over the land and all of that type of stuff. But what needs to happen is the trusting in the Lord to put things back together, the trusting in the Lord to make all things beautiful, and because he does all things well, you know. And I'm not saying that, oh, she needs to wait until her husband comes back, she needs to do that, da, 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 da. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that hey, recognize this went wrong, and it did go wrong. It went wrong. Not like, okay, well, this is how it's supposed to go, and all of that. And then it's like, okay, well, we, again, find the beauty in it. I suppose. I suppose. But, and I know some of y'all are listening to it like, well, Keith, that's what she's doing. She's finding the beauty in it. It's the way in which you're finding the beauty in it that I have a real issue with. You know what I'm saying? And I know that sounds kind of funny to say, but I'm like, if we're seeing it from the prism, from this God prism, if we're seeing the situation from the lens of a believer, that it is to feel it, to feel it head on. And I still think that there is some part of her, a very large part of her, that is not feeling it, or trying to skirt the pain. And I know that's human nature. That's a human nature thing to do. It's like, well, I don't want to feel it all the way, so let me do this, let me rationalize it this way, let me make it this way, and da 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 da. And what you are really doing in many instances, when I hear her speak, is negating the actual character of God. You know what I'm saying? When in all actuality, like, what are we mad at God for? And she might not be mad at him now, but it's like, what am I mad at God for? Like, well, you said like this was supposed to be forever. Like, that's that decision that man made, that he has to deal with. And now we have to lean on the Lord full force to get us through this.
I'm running, and it was just like I was just so there. I knew exactly where Ava was, and I was just so there with her, and I was pleased to be able to gift her with the realest, truest, rawest emotion of what that reality was.
Is it easier to play a role when you're familiar? Not just a character, but you like, I've been there, I've done that. I actually know what a divorcee is going through in this very moment. I can tell you what it's like.
Divorcee.
Yeah, I think it is easier, although there is your experience and their experience.
Yeah, because you might not have gone through the reason why she got divorced might not be the reason why you got the divorce.
Right.
So it has to be different. I mean, I'm reading that divorce, marriage gone wrong. Maybe it's domestic violence, maybe it's finances, or whatever the case may be.
Right.
But at the end of the day, is that big D? E at the end.
Yes. Yeah. And the only difference is how does this person download and process it?
Yes.
Like, for instance, with my character in Harlem, it's first time where I go, oh, okay, she's a Gemini. So I'm going to pursue all Gemini traits.
See? Gotcha. 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 Gotcha.
So if Meagan,
Come
if you
on,
come at her
man.
like this, Meagan might get indignant and be like, but a Gemini is actually going to go, wait a second, and get introspective, and a totally different gear is going to.
So I'm going to pray. I'm going to pray to God for this role. And then after that, I'm going to seek the occult on how to play the role.
It for them. And so that's the only difference, is even though I can
Y'all
understand where the
keep thinking this
character's
stuff
at,
again. Y'all keep thinking that
distinguishing
this
the
stuff
difference
is play.
between not
Y'all keep thinking that this
Ava
stuff
and
is
Megan's
doesn't mean
journeys, but Ava
whatever
and Megan's mentalities
people
and
out here telling y'all
their
that it
bandwidth
means. Y'all
for
keep
pain
on.
and their
Y'all keep just thinking, oh,
how much did they,
it's just my
bond from
zodiac
a family,
sign.
how much did they share, what's the dynamic
It's
between
just
her mother versus
a lot
hers,
of
all those
similarities that I
things.
have with people that
That would be
I have
connected,
a
but
same
do I think it's
birthday
easier
or
for
share the
them?
same
Yes, because
birthday
you
month
already
with
have
and
a
all
leg
that
up,
da 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 da.
because you already have
Experience.
such a rich well to pull from.
Her voice is annoying.
Should we view divorce as bad?
I don't know anymore.
Not even gonna lie.
I don't know.
Prior to you going through divorce, how did you view divorce? But prior to it happening to you, how would you view it?
I hope
felt
he
like
didn't
for
stay
any
on
other
this whole divorce thing, harp on this whole divorce thing the whole time. Shannon has a tendency to he has a tendency to take one thing about you, one small thing about you, and make it that be what it is about you. Like the same thing that he did with Ray J. He talked about him being Brandy's brother the whole time. The same thing with Lavelle Crawford. He talked about him being big the whole time. It's like, bro, this is a microcosm of who I am. This ain't even all me, bro. It's just a part of who I am.
the reason besides domestic violence, I'm like, y'all better figure that out. But now I don't know. I think that what I experienced made me less judgmental about an experience that somebody else is having that I don't know what it is.
Right.
And I can't say that it's bad or good for anybody. All I can say is that it hurt a lot for me, but I think that it also was a blessing to both of us in a way.
It's not a blessing to y'all. It's not a blessing. It's literally a curse. It's literally a curse that has been placed on y'all. And I'm not saying that you need to be mad at anybody, but if any, and I'm not even really mad at Meagan. I'm mad at DeVon Franklin. If there's anyone to be upset about in this situation, it's DeVon Franklin. Like, I hear the way that she's talking. I hear the lack of proper biblical doctrine, and this is going to sound crazy. I get it, but I'm gonna say it. It's tight, but it's right. I hear the lack of truly washing her in the word. I hear this watered down Christianity, and because this is your wife, DeVon Franklin, I blame you. I blame you for leading her to the well, helping her drink and do all, drink from the well and all of that type of stuff. And then say, all right, well, I'm out because I'm not feeling X, Y, and Z, and I'm having an issue with da 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 da. So we should just dissolve this and we should remain great friends and all of that type of stuff. That's not what it's supposed to be. That's not what it's supposed to be, and that's not what marriage is. Well, I was talking to somebody today. Shout out to Roshana. She was saying, Roshana. She was saying, it's like because she watched part one, she was saying like, yo, like you just see this uptick of celebrities just talking about marriage as if it's something that they'll like a business venture, like they'll get into for a certain period of time, and then when it no longer serves them, they'll leave it. You know what I mean? And it's like that's not what marriage is at all. And for someone to try to make it out to be something like that, it's a mockery and it's a slap in the face to the church. It's a slap into the face. It's a slap in the face to the God that you are serving and all of that type of stuff. Again, I'm pretty sure she's not the one that presented it within the marriage of whole, hey, let's get divorced. That's why, again, I want to make it clear she's not the one that I'm upset at. It is indeed DeVon Franklin. This is a travesty.
And not because it
And like my friend Alana was saying to me today, she said, I need him to speak out on this. I need him to come to the forefront and make sense of all of this. And I and I'm jacking up, I'm paraphrasing what she was saying, but it's like, yes, of course they don't really owe us anything, but no, you owe us something when you come on here and you start talking about your divorce and you make your divorce public, you make your marriage public, and you praying with us and you praying for us in our face every time, unsolicited. All right, hey, we on Instagram and stuff like that. And you were like, oh, raise your hands and all of this, and we about to pray and all of this type of stuff. And you right up under him and stuff like that, praying, and that's your husband, so I'm not knocking that. You know what I'm saying? But it's like when you do that publicly, but it's like, nah, we divorced and this, you know what I mean? Like, and this ain't nobody's business, and I'm moving on to my next phase of life and da 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 da. It's like, yeah, she now has to move on to the next phase of life, sir. And look at what happens when there is no covering. Right, I just come out here and I start saying all types of crazy stuff about God. I start saying stuff. Well, that's his whole thing. That's what he been saying. Oh yeah, we still friends and we moving on to the next phase of our lives. This was a great thing that we did and da 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 da. We partnered together for 10 years. Our marriage was a success. No, it wasn't. If y'all get divorced, it's an unsuccessful marriage. Point blank, period.
happen, but because if it had to happen and that was a part of our story, we both got so much from it.
Did you feel you let people down?
No, you see that? You hear that foolishness?
Yes and no, because I think I felt
again, I'm coming from what marriage actually is, not what today's society and what random people want it to be for them. Right? Marriage is not based off of how you want it to be for y'all. Well, this is our marriage. We seen Tiana Taylor. You know, anytime you see somebody try to do marriage their own way, it always seems to like be something at the end of it. It always seems to like just crumble and be something. What's the word? Something real manipulated and something real deformed about it, right? Tiana Taylor and Iman Shumpert, they were married, but they were having extramarital affairs with inside the marriage. So it wouldn't necessarily be an extramarital affair, but per se, right? But all right, we having threesomes, we doing stuff with women and stuff like that, and you know, you able to see this person, I'm able to see this person and stuff like that. And now look at them. Now look at them. Same thing with Will and Jada. Oh yeah, our marriage was our marriage. We had an agreement. Such and such can see such and such, and you can see such and such. And now look at him. Will slapping people in the face, trying to get his wife back. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, just do marriage the way that marriage is supposed to be done, and everything will be what it's supposed to be.
I let people down a bit with the weight, because I never said to someone, well, this is what I think you should do.
Right.
And I never pursued making the book like, look how I did it, guys. This is what it was never that. It was always people asking and inquiring, me saying, oh, this is the spaces that I'm in, this is what God's telling me to do right now, and people being curious, and from that coming a book
God is
talking
telling
about
me to
our
get
experience,
divorced
not
from my
necessarily
husband.
telling people to go do it, but saying this is why it worked for us, and this is why, you know, we believe in it. And I still believe in the wait, and I still believe
Oh,
that
they
it
did
worked for
do.
us. I think that
They
what
did write a
didn't work
book.
for us were the reasons why we ultimately you know, divorced. But I think that I think the wait allowed us to get the full benefit. And I think it's the reason that we're still friends to this day. I think it's the reason
Bro,
that we walked into the room
that is
with
so
both of our
sickening.
divorce attorneys and, but you look great. Look at you. You've been working out. Yeah, you look great too. Da-da-da. How you doing? You know, and they looking like, y'all getting divorced?
You're right.
And we're like, yeah. And they're like,
But you see,
okay, y'all just okay, you know. And when people, when they see us, you know, we see each other in the street, you know, people tense up around us, and I'm like, how are you doing? You know, and it's
Right.
just like, and
Yeah,
it's
that's a little
genuine love,
much.
and I think a lot of that really is because of the wait and the way that we got to know each other and the quality
That's not somebody that you divorced. That's not somebody that you
of the
divorced.
human being and the trust that was there. Even if
On
there,
either
you know, was
end.
disappointment at the end, I can look at DeVon and say that's a fucking good person.
wow.
And I'm thankful for that time.
Divorce in the Black will
Yeah.
launch globally on Prime
I
Video.
ain't advertising that movie. Yeah. I disagree. No need to rehash it. I think it's whack. I think it's whack how you view marriage. I think it's whack how you view in this situation. I think it's whack. I think it's whack, yo. Personally, sorry. Peace.